My name is Meghan O'Connor. I am Assistant Professor of Art here at Coastal, and I teach printmaking and life drawing and some of the Drawing Foundations courses. This project is for celebrating the 20th anniversary of the naming of the Edwards College. Started talking about it when we were planning for the gala. I was approached to create an image to celebrate the naming of the building, and through conversations, talking to Mrs. Edwards and also talking with administration, we kind of settled on some imagery of the fountain from the courtyard. I heard the story that the Edwards loved the fountain so much that they got a replica made and put at their own home. Or maybe it's the other way around. But I heard a story that there is more than one fountain and they are duplicates because of their love of the fountain so much. So I created the block, and when I created the original, I made a drawing first, and then the plan was to take that drawing and translate it to the printmaking process, so that I could print a limited edition print, so that when people provide donations that we'll use for scholarships, they will receive one of the printed edition. I printed a proof today, and on November 12th, I'll be printing an edition of 50, so that will be fun. So I started with taking photographs. I love drawing. I love drawing. I've always loved to draw, and so I tend to draw in a representational, meaning like it looks like what we see. And originally I thought I would make the image more abstracted, and after taking photographs and looking at the space and starting the drawing, I was like, oh wow, the fountain itself is so ornate, and then there's all the water droplets flying through the air. So I was like, I'm just gonna draw this as best as I can and have fun with the drawing. I started with the photograph, and I created a drawing by hand on paper with ink on paper, and then I scanned that onto the computer, and then I used the computer to duplicate parts of the drawing, to edit the drawing, to darken areas, lighten areas, to plan the printmaking process. And then I used that computer file and converted it for a laser cutter. So I did a bunch of testers on the laser engraver. That also took another, a lot of hours. But it was, it's good because it's like you want to make sure before you spend 2 hours laser cutting the full block that you've sort of tested out different speeds and different powers of the laser settings to make sure the depth is appropriate and your image is reproduced in terms of your original vision. So from there, you roll out your ink, and then you ink the block, and then you run it. You put your paper down, and you crank the handle of a printing press to sort of. I like to say it smushes it. It smushes it, and it applies even pressure to the paper, so that when you peel the paper off, it pulls the ink off of the block. And then do that 50 more times or more. When I was first in college, I majored in, I trained in painting, and then I thought I wanted to do drawing, and then I was like, I'm gonna do graphic design, and then I found printmaking and I fell in love with it. I feel like printmaking, it lives in both studio and design world. We're using equipment and processes that are still associated with graphic design, but used to be more closely associated with graphic design. So there's a history of commercial printing and the printing industry. And so it's different than just like making a drawing or making a painting. Like when you make those things, only one exists, right? So I love the fact that you're creating multiples and they can go out into the world. Like when I'm done with this can exist in, like 50 different homes, or it could also be like up in a gallery, or somebody could get one and like stick it on the wall with a thumbtack if they wanted to. They can be framed nice for presentation purposes, but I like the fact that printmaking can sort of move through the hierarchical art world that exists, or not an art world. I think that that's really fantastic. And also, like, I enjoy the technical challenges. Like, my brain likes to have things to chew on, and so there is a lot of labor involved in printmaking, but I find that it keeps me engaged with the things that I'm working on, because not only am I making the drawing or working within the process, I'm having to think about the technical challenges involved with working with that process as well.